Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Jake from today'siphone.com, or I am Dwight Schrute from The Office, or I am a 1960s middle-class office worker from any office. Anyway, it's Halloween, so happy Halloween. Hope you guys have fun. And here's the big news this week. Okay, so first, really quickly, I just want to let you guys know that there are some new MacBook Pros on Apple's website right now. The upgrades are pretty minor, slightly faster processors and slightly better graphics. Everything else is exactly the same, the design, the capacities, all that stuff. So if you were in the market for a MacBook Pro, I think now would be the time to get one. That's it. Alright, moving on. It came out this week that Sprint shells out 40% over the industry average to carry the iPhone, which means they pay about $200 in like subsidy prices and that kind of stuff for every iPhone they sell. But even though they're paying so much for the device, Dan Hesse, the CEO, went on record as saying that it's worth every penny. His reasoning for this was that iPhone users use about 50% as much data as comparable Android 3G and 4G users, so it actually saves the carrier a lot of money in the long run. Now, I don't know about you, but this surprised me quite a lot. I mean, I know personally I use a ton of data on my iPhone. I'm on AT&T, and luckily I was able to get an unlimited plan before they shut that whole thing down. A lot of the applications in the App Store use the internet, so I don't know, it just seems strange to me that we would use so much less data than Android users. So there are a couple possible explanations. The first one is it was suggested that Sprint may have optimized their network for Apple's devices. That doesn't seem very likely to me. Next, there is that Android users just use more data, which also doesn't seem very likely to me. And third, and least fortunate of the bunch, Sprint iPhone users have been experiencing very, very low data speeds, which could account for why their data usage numbers have been so low. Now, speaking of those low data speeds, it's not just an isolated event. Reportedly, there is an internal email going around at Sprint and Apple letting employees know that they are trying to find a solution for what they call a confirmed nationwide issue. Now, there's no word on whether this is a problem with the hardware of the iPhone or, you know, the software, the carrier settings and that kind of stuff. Let's hope that Apple can fix it with a software update, because if not, they are going to be having to issue a lot of replacement iPhones for Sprint customers. Sprint users, have you been experiencing any of these low data speeds? I mean, I've seen some screenshots of some ridiculously low speeds with people who have full 3G Sprint coverage. So let me know in the comments section down below, you know, how your experience with your Sprint iPhone has been. Dan Hesse, the CEO of Sprint, says that the phone was worth every penny for the company. I'm wondering how the customers are feeling about it. Now, it looks like as a whole, this hasn't been the best week for the iPhone 4S. These Sprint data issues are not the only problems that have come up. A lot of iPhone 4S users are reporting low battery life, worse than that of the iPhone 4, even though Apple marketed the device as having a better battery than the iPhone 4. One user in particular said he was losing 10% battery life in standby every hour, which is very, very bad. You know, he tried turning off location services, closing all the apps running in the background, turning off Siri. Nothing really seemed to work for him, and he posted about it on the internet, and an Apple employee actually called him up regarding his post, saying that it is a confirmed issue that's affecting a lot of people, and he wanted to, you know, install some diagnostic software on the phone to see what they could do to fix the problem. Although from these accounts, it doesn't really seem like they're close to finding a solution, which is unfortunate, especially since the better battery is one of only a handful of changes between the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S. I mean, seriously, if you're not going to update a device that much, the stuff that you do update should work properly. iPhone 4S users, have you noticed any battery issues, you know, compared to your old phone, whether it's an iPhone 4, iPhone 3GS, or something else? Or are you loving your iPhone 4S with the battery, with Siri, with the processor, with everything? Let me know down in the comment section below. The battery life on my iPhone 4 is pretty amazing. I don't charge it for 2 or 3 days and, you know, it gets low, but it very rarely goes completely dead. So it's just one more reason I'm happy I didn't upgrade. Alright, moving on to some news that doesn't suck so much. The New York Times is reporting that Apple is working on a TV, a large big screen HD TV, with Siri. Now, rumors of an Apple TV, like a TV, not just a little box you plug in, have been floating around for a while now, but they got an uptick this week when it was seen in the Steve Jobs autobiography. No, not autobiography, just regular biography by Walter Isaacson. That he discussed the Apple TV with Steve, and Steve at one point said, "I think I've cracked it," which obviously led very many people to believe that an Apple TV was in the works. And the New York Times did some digging and found out that, yes, there are components for a large device, which is presumably a TV, floating around in Apple's supply chain. And furthermore, it's not so much the TV that's going to be revolutionary, it's just a TV, but the way that you interact and control it will be because you know, Apple doesn't like buttons, so they want to find a solution to the remote problem, and that solution is your voice. Now, a Siri-powered Apple TV is still a couple of years away, but one anonymous Apple employee said that Steve thought the industry was broken, and that a TV is definitely a Apple product sometime in the future. And finally, Cam has another quick how-to for you newbie iPhone users out there. It's actually pretty cool. You can set the camera flash on your iPhone 4 or iPhone 4S to work as sort of an LED indicator light for when you get a notification, much like the little light at the top of a BlackBerry works. I mean, all you have to do is go to settings in general, then accessibility, and then turn LED for notifications on. But it's cool, and something that I didn't know was in iOS 5. So, you know, these basic tutorials can be just as useful as the more advanced ones. Sorry, one more thing really quick. After I had filmed, edited, and exported that video, news came to light that Siri had successfully been ported to the iPhone 4 and the iPod Touch, and I thought you guys would want to know. Stephen Troughton-Smith and a hacker who goes by Chapone are responsible for this, and there's no word on a release date or anything because the files that they use don't belong to them, but it's good to know that Siri can run on an iPhone 4 and an iPod Touch, and it seems to be running just as well as it does on the iPhone 4S, so hopefully we get this pretty soon. Okay, well that's it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Keep in mind that the links to all of these stories I talked about in this video are in the description down below, so go check those out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, talk about iPhone 4S, iOS 5, or let me know what you're going to be for Halloween. You feel free to do so at twitter.com/TIP_Jake. I try to respond to everybody that tweets me, so if you have something to say, the best place to do it is there. And as always, for more news, views, reviews, definitely head over to today'siphone.com, and next week I promise I will not be wearing this. Ah, you didn't get the iBook? You're such a jerk. Bears. Beats. Battlestar Galactica. Dear God, that was an awful impression.